Have you ever felt like the world had already decided who you were going to be? Like your story was written before you even learned to read? That's how it was for me. Growing up in a place where the dirt on your feet was a more reliable inheritance than any dream you could possibly have. Our village was tucked away in the folds of forgotten hills, a place where time seemed to move slower. Or maybe it had just stopped altogether. We weren't just poor. We were the kind of poor that's passed down through generations, a heavy cloak you wear from birth. My house was a humble patchwork of mud, wood, and a rusty tin roof that sang a loud, frantic song every time it rained. My father's hands were a road map of hardship, calloused and cracked from a lifetime of laboring in other people's fields for a few coins that were never quite enough. My mother, her eyes always held a tired sort of kindness, a quiet resignation to a fate she couldn't change. My world was small. It was the dusty path to the village well, the shade of the ancient banyan tree where the elders told the same stories over and over, and the one-room schoolhouse with its crumbling walls. The teacher, Mr. Gupta, was an old man with glasses as thick as bottle bottoms. He'd always say, "Education is the only way out." But for most of us, out was an imaginary place like a city in a fairy tale. Our reality was the harvest, the drought, the endless cycle of debt. I was different, though, or at least I wanted to be. While other kids were content with chasing chickens, I'd sneak away with the tattered second-hand books Mr. Gupta would lend me. I'd climb the highest hill overlooking our village, and as the sun set, painting the sky in colors we couldn't afford, I'd read. I read about faraway cities with buildings that scraped the sky, about oceans so vast they met the horizon, about people who invented things that could change the world, and a fire started to burn inside me. It was a dangerous, hopeful fire my father didn't understand. "Reading won't fill your stomach," he'd say, his voice heavy with the pragmatism of a man who'd never had the luxury of a dream. Our place is here in this soil. He wasn't being cruel. He was being a father, trying to protect me from a heartbreak he knew all too well, the heartbreak of wanting more than life was willing to give. The turning point came one sweltering afternoon. A government official's jeep, a machine so alien it looked like it had landed from another planet, broke down near our village. The men in clean clothes were frustrated, helpless. I'd spent countless hours tinkering with our village's old water pump, a stubborn piece of machinery that I had, through sheer trial and error, learned to coax back to life. I saw a similar mechanism under the Jeep's hood. Hesitantly, shyly, I approached them. They shooed me away at first, another dirty village kid, but I was persistent. I pointed, I mumbled about a loose belt and a clogged filter, things I'd read about in a torn mechanic's manual. Out of sheer desperation, they let me try. My small, nimble fingers, accustomed to mending fishing nets and fixing plows, went to work. An hour later, with a final cough and a sputter, the engine roared to life. The official, a man with a kind face, truly looked at me for the first time. He didn't see a poor village boy. He saw potential. He asked me my name. He asked me what I wanted to be. And for the first time, I said it out loud, my voice barely a whisper. An engineer. That man sponsored my education. Leaving my village was the hardest thing I'd ever done. It felt like tearing a part of myself away. The city was a terrifying, dazzling monster of noise and light. I was lonely. I was scared, and I failed more times than I could count. Every time I wanted to give up, I'd close my eyes and see my father's calloused hands, my mother's tired smile, and the dusty path of my village. They weren't just memories, they were the fuel for my fire. Today I design bridges. Bridges that connect people, connect towns, connect worlds. Sometimes late at night, in my quiet apartment overlooking a city that glitters with a million lights, I think about that little boy on the hill, the boy who was told his story was already written in the dirt, and I smile. Because he learned that you are not defined by where you come from. You are defined by the bridges you are willing to build, not just with steel and concrete, but with courage, with hope, and with the audacious, stubborn belief that you can write a new story for yourself. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more videos like this.